Good morning. Happy Friday. It's Friday. And we are today, I'm just waiting for Laura to join me on Instagram. And today we are going to wrap up everything that we talked about. We're going to give you some homework to do over the weekend so that you are prepped for Monday. Because all of next week, we're going to be talking about love the hearts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep them coming because for no other reason other than it's Friday and we're still here.
We made it.
We made it with a mediocre amount of tears. You know, like we made it. Yeah, we made it. But we're going to give you some homework to do over the weekend so that you're prepped and ready to go for next week, because next week is going to be more workshopy. And now that we have established offers, we're going to do sort of an overview today, just to solidify what we've been talking about all week. And then next week, we're going to spend time actually coming up with ideas, actually writing down ideas and content and posts and emails and all of that good stuff so that you know how to market and talk to and communicate your offers right now. Because the way that we were doing it 3 weeks ago is not how it has to be done right now. And so we need to pivot our messaging, and we need to change our messaging, and we need to really get specific in terms of the issues that your ideal client is facing right now. So good morning, everybody. First, let's just do a real live check-in. How are you? Someone's asking you, is that what's in your smoothie or is it coffee? It's probably water. She drinks a lot of water in the morning.
It's water. It's water with vitamin C powder and a little oregano oil, just in case.
How are you guys though? For real. There's no BS. We're going to tell you how we are, but let's just do sort of a mental health check-in on this book launch day, this day of the book launch. How are you actually doing? Please feel free to share with us. Laura, how are you actually doing?
You know what? I'm good. I've learned some new skills this week, which I'm proud of. One of them almost brought me to tears yesterday, but I got through it. I have now learned how to work efficiently with Hannah Montana playing on repeat in the background. So solid. I feel really good about that. That is a win. That is a win. How about you? How are you really doing?
So I live in the and, as everybody knows. So how am I really doing? I am looking forward to later today when my two kids, who I've had for 2 weeks straight, pretty much, aside from a full 24 hours, go to their fathers for the weekend.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm doing. The secret to getting through COVID is to get a divorce and share custody of your children.
I might take you up on that.
That's the secret of COVID, of how to get through the vid. Otherwise, honestly, the rails were coming off yesterday. My son is having a hard time in terms of energy. And yesterday we went for like an hour-long walk at 7:45 at night because I was like, we need to get out of the house. And it was dark and windy and cold. And we just needed to, get out of the house. I toggle between being good and fine and, happy that we're healthy and have groceries. And then I feel miserable and have a pity party for myself and want to cry and watch Kardashians and eat Chicago mixed popcorn.
Same.
So I think just the fact that I put on jeans every day this week, I get a fucking gold star for that. I
You
decided
don't do that on a normal week.
well, I've been trying since
I'm
actually the summer.
impressed.
I mean, most days, I have to say most days, but they were the same pair of jeans that I put on every day.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
You know,
That's
I
not
mean,
Twilight Zone
and
Lori.
do you know what's actually really funny about this? I don't know if any of you noticed. I have not repeated my shirt because we are going live every day. And most of the time, I show up 4 days in a row in our meetings, in our Zoom calls,
That is
with
true.
with the same shirt on because I don't care. Except
This is a
now
win.
we are in front of you people. And I was like, they're going to see these videos side by side. And it would be
simultaneously.
Simultaneously. It would be awfully gross of me to show up in the same shirt. Although I have been wearing this tank top, I have to say, for 3 days.
There you go. There she is.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad that you people on Instagram, no one is commenting on Facebook. So I'm going to assume that you guys on Facebook are all good. And Sue says, I'm doing more work than I've ever done before. Hi, Sue. Including live workout videos. Yes. Amazing. Working with kids around is definitely not the best. No, it's actually the worst. It's the
hard.
worst. Divine Harmony, a little overwhelmed, but holding it together. Good. Amazing. Ali Fit Life, having good, tough emotions, working as a nurse. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for working as a nurse. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So let's dive in. We have lots of meetings today. So we're going to keep this brief. Friday is meetings day. Fridays and Mondays actually are meetings days. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a review of the offer, like I said, and next week we're going to talk about getting attention and what that looks like at the various stages. So the first thing that I want to remind you about is most likely the way that you were presenting your service, your offer before isn't going to work right now. That's not to say that the problem in and of itself has changed. It hasn't. But if you don't include messaging that is directly applicable to the time that we're in, people are not going to pay attention to you. They're just not. You have to figure out a way to shape your offer, whether that's one-on-one consultations as a naturopathic doctor or a dietitian or a whatever, or fitness classes or Pilates classes or your 12-week program. You have to be able to know your ideal client well enough to understand the messaging that you need to use that will kill their pain right now. Nobody's going after a nice to have. Nobody's going after a want. It's need only. So how is what you are going to give them going to kill their pain right now, immediately? Even if for example, like we can't, reverse adrenal fatigue and leaky gut and all of those things immediately, but you can give them relief immediately. Right? And so this is what we need to be thinking about is what is your ideal client suffering with so bad right now that you can give them relief and kill the immediate pain right now while working to support them through this crisis. That's the name of the game right now. How can you pivot your messaging to communicate that they need this now and why? And this is where the educational piece comes in, right? This is where the educational piece comes in. Why do they need this right now? What is happening that if they don't work with you right now to kill the immediate surface level, like high annoying pain, where are they going to be in 3 days? Where are they going to be in 7 days? Short-term solutions right now. How can you get them relief immediately and support them through the long term? And that's what we're trying to get across to you guys right now in terms of your offer. Before it was just sort of dealing with their pain and their symptoms. But if we layer what's happening on top of that, we have to deal with the immediate circumstances that they're in. Do you want to add anything to that?
I think that sums it up. I mean, the one thing I will add is that people are still buying. People are still spending money. People are still working with our clients. We're seeing it. We had, we run a Friday post every Friday morning in both of our groups, 10K and 10K Grow. And this morning I looked at the Friday post. It went up about an hour and a half ago. There was already a comment from one of our clients saying she had 3 sales calls yesterday. One was a yes. The 2 other ones were going to be a yes. She is having her second best month ever right now.
And it's also worth noting that she's also in Australia. So she had the fires and COVID to deal with. Yeah. So when you're able to, you can go upstairs. I'm not going upstairs. I'm in the middle of something. You can go upstairs. So hello. Please stop it now. So fires. So fires. Yep. So it just goes to show that if you understand your ideal client, you can tweak what it is. Thank you for the smiley faces. You can say hello.
Hi, Daniel.
Okay, please go away now. Thank you.
Why do I have to?
Stop.
Oh, tell me.
It's Friday. It's Friday.
They're going to their dads.
It's Friday.
Okay. Daniel, I'm doing a live. Please have respect, okay? Thank you. All right. So, offers. The idea is to really think about what it is that they're going through immediately and speak to that, right? And so the next part to that would be coming up with the ability to modify what you currently have. And we talked about this throughout the week. So do you want to just talk about what that could look like? Let's assume that they either have a one-on-one service that they're offered offline, or they have some type of program, whether it's a DFY that they bought that they never used, or some type of like signature program that they have.
Totally. So you can do this a multitude of ways. So number one, you figured out what it is that they're in pain with right now and what you need to do. So now you take what you have and you package it in a way that you can solve the problem. So if that is, a one-on-one program, if that's your offer, then what you're going to do is you are literally going to package your one-on-ones. So you are going to have the conversation with them about why you need to go through XYZW steps, what that looks like. And you are not selling one-off sessions per se. You are selling a solution that looks like, 4 one-on-ones, every 7 days, and some support in, via Messenger maybe, or something like that. Or if you have a program already, you can take pieces of that program and you can put that together and you can deliver it either via email. You can deliver it one-on-one. You can literally work with your clients one-on-one, just giving them the content week by week by week, right? Like it's not complicated. It doesn't have to be complicated. Use what you have and put it together in a way that you can solve the immediate problem that they're in right now.
And
that's it.
Yeah. The one thing I want to add to that, this is kind of bringing me back to when I first started, and I would literally fly by the seat of my pants. Now, we don't advocate flying by the seat of anybody's pants because it adds more stress. And so the way that we work with our clients is we actually get them to finish their program, and then they can move on and do all of the lead gen, all of the nurture, all of the selling after the bulk of that work is done. We are not in a time right now where we have actually the luxury of that. It's okay to fly by the seat of your pants right now. It's okay to take imperfect action. You know, good morning, Melanie. It's okay to, you know, not be sure that this is going to sell. And one of the things that I was on a call with one of our higher level clients this week, and she's been doing this for a while. So she has an established audience. She's making sales. She works in a niche where, you know, it's period pain, and you know that wouldn't be timely right now. And so we were going through different messaging as to how the problem is exacerbated, and how she can tweak her messaging. And I said, look, like, and I'm going to say the same thing to you that I said to her. I was like, we need to put out more opportunities to work with us, because right now there are going to be less people who are saying yes. There just are. There are going to be less people who are saying yes, and they need to see something timely and new from you. And so I was saying to her, you know, what offer could you put out every third week? Right. And so they're low barrier offers, they're inexpensive, they address the issue now that they're having. People need to put their pain out now, right? They need to feel like they're going to get immediate relief. So I was saying to her, I was like, well, you have this program, you have your main program, you have the ability to work one-on-one at a higher level with people. How can we contort your offers? How can we come up with new packaging for what you already have and new messaging for what you already have, so that you are literally running through the various stages of your ideal client? There's going to be people who've already worked with you who need accountability and support. Maybe they because the trust is there, because they know you and the results that you can provide, they might want to sign up right now for like a hand-holding, in-depth program because the trust is already there. But that's not going to work for people who are new to your world. They need a lower barrier offer right now, because you don't have the time to nurture them. You don't have the time to do that because of the circumstances that we're in. Right. So I was saying, like, how can you put together offers for the various stages of where your audience is at, and literally just rotate through them, right? Just literally rotate through them. And next week, we're going to talk about the attention and the messaging as to how you can do that. But that's what I want you to think about. And I have a resource for you. So those of you watching on Facebook, if you do not have a dialed in ideal client avatar, a profile, and you want this resource, it's a super in-depth I don't even know what to call it. Resource. I'm going to just call it a resource.
Resource
It's Friday
works.
and words.
It's a resource.
It's a resource. If you're watching on Instagram, you can DM me, or you can head over to my Facebook business page at Lori Kennedy Inc. Make sure that you type in the comments if you do not have a dialed in ideal client profile. We need to get that dialed in immediately so that we understand what is the problem that your ideal client has and what is their current stage of awareness, right? Because we need to be able to create program services offers for the different stages of awareness right now. And we need to be able to, which is what we'll do next week, we will create marketing messages for the various stages so that you can almost do like a mini pre-launch before you put the offer, so that you can really ramp up the desire for the need. And then when you go and you extend the opportunity for whatever it is, even if it's a one-on-one consultation, or, you know, a 4 package of sessions, or a 30-day program, or a higher level concierge style thing, there always needs to be some type of priming. There always needs to be some type of ramp up to an offer. What we don't want to do right now is just sell. That is a hard no at any time, but specifically right now. People need to understand how you're going to give them immediate relief. Immediate. Even if you know that you can't give them immediate relief because most health problems don't have quick fixes, there are strategies and tools you can give them that will alleviate a high level of whatever it is that they're feeling. There just are. right? And that's sort of where you need to think about right now is how is what I'm going to do, how is what I'm going to be able to provide to you going to solve an immediate problem that you have? And I'm just looking at, I can't even say, what is this, like L'Apartment Pilates? Is that what that reads? L'Apartment?
That's what it reads to me.
Okay. So I'm just thinking about Pilates and I'm thinking about, you know, what immediate problem does Pilates solve? Right? They're at home, they're likely overeating, they're likely snacking.
Mhm.
If you can do a group Pilates, it's community, it's fun, it's 30 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour of forgetting about your current circumstances. It's solving an immediate problem for them.
Absolutely.
Right? Oh, it's French. Yes, that would make sense. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. I'm not even going to try and say what that would sound like in French. I'm not even going to try. But that's how I want you to think about, like, from an emotional perspective, from a physical perspective, from a pain point perspective. You know, this is the time where if you know your ideal client, you can look at the various aspects of their life and think, okay, how is this going to provide immediate relief to what they're feeling and experiencing? Do you want to add anything?
I think that basically sums it up. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Don't take 3 weeks to, you know, dive deep and really think about what it could be and how you can help them. Just pick something, and we're going to start there. And
Yeah.
if that something doesn't work, great, we'll pick something else. But we're going to start. You're going to pick something. You're going to pick this weekend. And then on Monday, you are going to work with us to start developing your messaging, which is really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me just go back to the notes and see if there's anything that right. Okay, cool. The last thing that I just want to say, here, Angelina, would a 1 week stress reduction meal plan be appropriate right now? I don't know. Would it? Is that going to solve, is a meal plan for your clientele going to solve an immediate problem for them? Probably not, given what your ideal clients struggle with right now. Right? And I'm speaking to Angelina specifically because I know who her ideal client is because she's a client of ours. What would help them right now? Would it be a private community where they can be in community with each other and have support and share and vent and be honest and give them daily supports so that they can get through the day? Think about your ideal client, right? Think about them specifically. And
also,
yeah.
Think about the situation we're in right now. I just looked to see when I could get groceries delivered. It's 1 week from today. So a meal plan where you're giving them a meal plan to go and shop and prepare for is likely not realistic. So how can you do a spin on that that's timely, right? Like, we're talking about timely. People don't have access to fresh groceries right now. People don't have access to all of the things they normally can just run out and buy and all of the stores they can normally shop at, right? So if you're going to do a meal plan, you got to do a meal plan with stuff on hand, right? You have to show them how they can utilize what they have because that's timely. A just general stress reducing meal plan is actually the opposite of timely right now.
Yeah. Sharon's asking on Facebook, can you direct me how to do group emails and automate them and send them out? Is there a platform? We recommend ActiveCampaign. I'm just thinking, do we have a resource? Sharon, I'm going to get one of my specialists to message you, and there are resources. I mean, we've been talking about email. That's actually the first thing I ever talked about was email marketing. So I've been talking about email marketing for 8 years. If you don't have a list, please start one now. So Sharon, we'll get a specialist to reach out to you. And also to Krista, she was asking about our 10K success system, and we'll get a specialist to reach out to you as well. For that, the last thing that I just want to say to you as we sign off for the week, first and foremost, I really want you to remind yourself that you have the ability to help your people solve problems. You do. Just because we're going through the vid and it's a pandemic and the world is on fire doesn't mean that your ability to help people has stopped. It's actually so much more important for them to work with you now. And if you're someone who's thinking, it's funny, we had a couple people reply to emails because we've offered a payment plan that we've never offered before for those people who really want to get started building their businesses online. And it was amazing to me, some of the responses. One of the responses was, which made us all laugh, respectfully, if you're watching this and you were the one that sent it. But, the response was something to the effect like, I'm going to hold off for now because I don't think this online business thing is going to make it much longer because the world is changing and I'm not sure that it's a viable business model. And I was like, okay, bye. So good luck to you. So, please don't allow this current circumstance to cloud what we know, right? Please don't allow your fatigue and anxiety and fear to take over what we know. What we know is that being an entrepreneur is the safest thing right now, right? What we know is that the majority, not the majority, but I shouldn't say the majority because I don't know about that, but some of the biggest Fortune 500 companies were started in recessions, right?
Yeah.
Apple, GE, Burger King, Toll House. What else were they?
Disney. I believe
Disney.
Disney.
Like, the definition of an entrepreneur is someone who solves problems at a greater level of risk than anybody else. This is true. There is a great level of risk going into becoming an entrepreneur, right? We're seeing it right now. And those people that have that mindset of entrepreneurism and, I'm okay. I will be okay. I understand the fundamentals of business. I understand attention. I understand nurture. I understand offers. I understand delivery. I understand connection, right? I understand community. Those skills translate.
They don't go away.
They don't go
away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when that person replied, I said, oh, that's a dangerous mindset.
Mhm.
We were talking at the beginning of this live, like we were saying, how are you really? And we can be stressed out and, afraid, like what, it's an uncertain time and no one likes to sit in uncertainty. It's an awful, awful feeling. And I am certain that my company, you will be okay. Certain. Even if it's really stressful for a period of time. I am certain that eventually there will be a point where we will look back and go, we crushed the vid. We crushed it, right? We crushed it because we're giving to our community. We're taking care of the team. We're doing our very best at home, even if that looks like a hot mess most of the time. Living in uncertain times is a challenge, except that when you have the skills and you're in control and you're betting on yourself, there is a level of certainty there, right? Like, it's comforting to me to know that I have been in dark places before. I started in debt. I started when my kids were babies. I was going through that of bet on yourself. Even in uncertain times, there is certainty in knowing that you have skills that will outlast the current circumstances, right? And that gives you leverage. That gives you a leg up. That gives you opportunity, should you choose to see it that way, right? You can live in the and. It can be uncertain and it can feel uncertain. And you can also be certain that you can come out of this ahead because you are betting on yourself. Anything that you want to say?
It's so good. You guys, you know, this, I always go back to this saying, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are correct. And I think that's the most important thing here. If you think you can't do it, if you think you won't succeed, and if you do the things that lead to that outcome, you can be certain of that outcome. If you think you can, and if you do the things that actually move you forward in this situation, then you can be certain of that outcome. So choose, pick.
And that's not to say that it's going to be easy. This
Nope,
is, we are
it won't.
climbing an uphill Everest right now. And I just want to acknowledge that. But that doesn't mean that you can't do it. It just means it's going to be a little bit harder than it normally would. And that's okay. So, hope you have a good weekend. If you want that resource, make sure that you put it in the comments below. If you're watching on Facebook, just type in, I want the resource. If you're on Instagram, send me a DM, say, I want the resource. It's an ideal client profile workbook resource audio that we want you to do over the weekend so that you're prepared next week when we go into literally workshop style, like attention messaging, so that we can set up your offers correctly.
Yes.
So we hope you have a
So
good
exciting.
weekend. Thank you for hanging out with us, and we will see you on Monday. Bye.
Bye.
You need to come and look at this.